the blouse was beautiful on the hanger, soft ivory. A little pearl button, a graceful neckline, the kind of blouse that seems like it should make you look polished before lunch with friends, before church, before a family dinner, before that moment when you want to feel pulled together without looking dressed up. But then you put it on, turn slightly in the mirror, and all you can see are your arms. Not your smile, not your earrings, not the lovely color near your face, not the way the blouse could have made you look soft and feminine. Just the upper arm looking wider than it really is, the sleeve pulling across the back, the fabric cutting at the fullest part, and suddenly the whole outfit feels heavier. And the frustrating part is this: your arms may not be the problem at all. The sleeve is often the problem. A sleeve can be kind or cruel. It can skim the arm and give it a graceful line. Or it can squeeze, chop, puff, droop, wrinkle, and point the eye exactly where you wish it would not go. The difference may be only 2 inches of length, a softer fabric, a slightly wider opening, a more flattering shoulder seam, or a sleeve that ends at a better place. That is why 2 women can try on the same top and have completely different reactions. One says, "This makes me look neat and fresh." The other says, "Why do my arms look so big in this?" It is not vanity. It is fabric behavior. It is where the eye stops. Let me give you a very real example. Imagine a woman named Linda. She is 67. She has always loved pretty blouses. She is not trying to dress like her granddaughter. She simply wants to look modern, feminine, and comfortable. Her arms have changed over the years. The skin is softer. The upper arm is fuller. She does not like anything tight around the bicep. But she also does not want to hide under oversized cardigans all summer. One afternoon, she tries on 3 tops with the same pair of navy pants. The first top has a tight little short sleeve that cuts across the fullest part of her arm. She immediately reaches for a cardigan. The second top has a stiff puff sleeve with a gathered cuff. It looks romantic on the hanger, but on her body, it adds a round shape right where she wanted calmness. The third top has a soft and a gentle V neckline. Suddenly, her shoulders look smoother. Her arms look longer, her waist becomes less interrupted, and her face becomes the focus again. Nothing about Linda's body changed, the sleeve changed. And that is the promise of this video, not to shame mature arms, not to pretend we should erase every sign of living, lifting, hugging, cooking, working, carrying babies, gardening, traveling, and surviving real life. Mature arms are not something to apologize for. But if a sleeve is making them look heavier, wider, shorter, or more tired than they are, you deserve to know how to choose better. The first sleeve mistake is wearing sleeves that are too tight around the upper arm. This is one of the most common reasons a top looks less flattering than it should. A sleeve can fit across the bust, fit through the shoulders, and still be wrong at the arm. When the sleeve grips the bicep, the fabric starts to pull horizontally. Those little tension lines say, "Look here." They create a squeeze effect, even if the arm is not especially large. A tight sleeve also changes posture visually. When fabric is stretched across the upper arm, the shoulder can look more rounded, the bust can look wider, and the whole upper body can seem compressed. This is especially true with t-shirts, knit tops, cotton poplin blouses, and button front shirts with narrow sleeves. A mature woman may think, "I need the body of the shirt to be fitted. Otherwise, I look boxy." That can be true. But fitted through the torso does not mean tight through the arm. In fact, a little ease around the upper arm often makes the entire body look slimmer because the fabric is no longer struggling. The better choice is a sleeve that skims, not clings. You want enough room to slide a finger or two between your arm and the sleeve without the fabric collapsing into a tent. Look for words like relaxed sleeve, easy sleeve, dolman sleeve, elbow sleeve, bracelet sleeve, or soft knit with stretch. But do not trust the label alone. Raise your arms. Reach forward as if you are hugging someone. Bend your elbow. If the sleeve bites, rolls, or twists, it is not your sleeve. A small change with a big difference is sizing for the arm and tailoring the body if needed. Some women stay in a smaller size because they are afraid the next size will look frumpy. But if the next size gives your arms room and the shoulder still sits well, the outfit may look much more expensive. If the body is a little loose, a simple front tuck, a half tuck, a narrow belt under a jacket, or a small alteration can solve that. A squeeze sleeve is much harder to disguise. And be careful with ribbed knits. They can feel comfortable, but narrow ribbing across the arm can stretch open and emphasize width. A smoother knit with a little weight usually looks more refined. Not thick and heavy, just substantial enough to glide over the arm instead of recording every curve. The second sleeve mistake is choosing cap sleeves that cut into the roundest part of the arm. Cap sleeves look delicate on the hanger. They seem like a modest alternative to sleeveless, but on many mature women, especially women with softer upper arms, a cap sleeve, a true sleeveless top, or a longer sleeve. Why? Because a cap sleeve often stops right at the outer curve of the shoulder and upper arm. It creates a little horizontal ledge. The eye travels across the neckline, lands on that tiny sleeve edge, and stops exactly where the arm is widest. Instead of lengthening the arm, it chops it. This is why some women say, I don't understand. This top technically has sleeves, but I feel more exposed than if it had no sleeve at all. That feeling makes sense. A small cap sleeve can frame the arm in an unkind way. The better alternative is either a true sleeveless cut that is shaped well around the shoulder or a sleeve with enough length to create a line. If you are comfortable showing your arms, a sleeveless top with a slightly wider shoulder strap can look cleaner than a tiny cap sleeve. The fabric should sit closer to the shoulder bone and not cut too deep into the armhole. This gives the upper body a neat frame. If you prefer coverage, choose a short sleeve that comes lower, ideally somewhere between the lower bicep and just above the elbow, depending on your arm shape. A diagonal sleeve opening can be especially kind because it does not create a hard horizontal stop. A soft flutter sleeve can work if it has movement and does not stick out stiffly. A tulip sleeve can also be flattering when it overlaps gently and creates a vertical line. The misunderstanding is that more fabric always means more coverage. Not necessarily. Badly placed fabric can spotlight the area you wanted to soften. A tiny cap sleeve is technically fabric, but visually it can act like an arrow. This matters for summer dresses, wedding guest dresses, church tops, and travel outfits. A mature woman may buy a dress because she thinks at least it has sleeves, but the question is not just whether it has sleeves. The question is where the sleeve ends, how it lies, and whether it makes the arm look calm or crowded. When you try on a cap sleeve, do this simple mirror test. Stand naturally. Do not pose. Look at where the sleeve ends. Does your eye go to your face, or does it go straight to the upper arm? If the sleeve makes your arm the headline, let the dress go, no matter how pretty the print is. The third sleeve mistake is ending the sleeve at the widest part of the arm. This one is subtle, and once you see it, you will never unsee it. Every arm has a different widest point. For some women, it is the upper bicep. For others, it is just above the elbow. Some women carry softness at the back of the arm. Some have narrow wrists but fuller forearms. The sleeve hem acts like a frame. Wherever it stops across the fullest part, it makes that area look fuller. This is not only true for short sleeves. It happens with 3/4 sleeves, bell sleeves, crop jackets, cardigans, and even coats. A sleeve that ends at the widest part of the forearm can make the whole arm look heavier. A sleeve that ends at the narrowest part of the wrist or just below the elbow can look much more graceful. The better choice is to find your personal stopping points. For many women, elbow-length sleeves are wonderful because they cover the upper arm and stop near a natural bend. But not all elbow sleeves are equal. If the sleeve ends tightly right at the crease, it can feel awkward and bunch when you move. A little above or below the elbow may be better. 3/4 sleeves can be beautiful because they reveal the wrist, which is often one of the narrowest parts of the body. That glimpse of wrist brings lightness to the whole outfit. It also gives you space for a bracelet, a watch, or a delicate cuff. The arm looks longer because the eye moves past the sleeve to a narrower point. But for a petite woman, some 3/4 sleeves are too long and land at the widest part of the forearm. Then the sleeve looks accidental, as if the top shrank or the jacket is the wrong size. Petite women may need sleeves altered shorter, or they may need to push sleeves slightly and secure them with a soft fold. For a woman with fuller arms and a fuller waist, sleeve length becomes even more important. If the sleeve ends at the same horizontal level as the fullest part across the body, a top that stops at the hip, with sleeves ending at the same place, can create a box. Instead, try a sleeve that ends a little higher or lower than the widest part of your midsection. This breaks the line and keeps the eye moving. Think of the arm as part of the whole silhouette, not a separate problem. The sleeve, the hem of the top, the waistband, and the handbag all create visual stops. If all of them land at the same wide area, the outfit feels heavier. If they are staggered, the body looks more balanced. The fourth sleeve mistake is wearing dropped shoulders that make the upper arm look wider. Dropped shoulder seams are popular because they feel relaxed. You see them on sweatshirts, oversized sweaters, casual tees, and loose linen tops. They can be comfortable. And on some bodies, they look chic. But on many mature women, especially those with sloping shoulders, narrow shoulders, rounded posture, or fuller upper arms, a dropped shoulder can make the arm look wider than it is. Here is what happens visually. A normal shoulder seam sits near the edge of the shoulder, giving the upper body a gentle structure. A dropped shoulder seam falls lower on the arm. That means the sleeve begins partway down the upper arm. Instead of defining the shoulder, it adds fabric where the arm is already curving. The eye reads that dropped seam as extra width. If the fabric is thick, the effect is stronger. A dropped shoulder sweatshirt can make the upper body look like one large rectangle. If the sleeve is also wide, the arms may look heavier and the waist may disappear. The better alternative is a soft set-in sleeve or a slightly extended shoulder that still gives shape. You do not need a sharp business jacket shoulder. This is not about looking stiff. It is about giving the body a clean frame. A shoulder seam that sits close to your natural shoulder bone can make the arms look more vertical and the torso more lifted. For casual outfits, look for t-shirts with a defined shoulder seam and a sleeve that angles slightly downward instead of sticking straight out. For sweaters, choose a shoulder that has some structure, even if the knit is soft. For cardigans, avoid the very slouchy drop shoulder styles if they make you feel wider. A fine gauge cardigan with a cleaner shoulder can look just as comfortable and much more polished. This is especially helpful for women with a fuller bust or a fuller waist. When the shoulder line collapses, the upper body can look heavier from shoulder to hip. A cleaner shoulder lifts the frame, which can make the waist area look less dominant. It is not about making the body smaller. It is about giving the eye a better path. The contrarian idea is this. The most comfortable looking sleeve is not always the most flattering sleeve. Sometimes the top that looks easiest on the hanger gives the body no help at all. And sometimes a slightly more structured sleeve actually feels better emotionally because you stop adjusting it, tugging it, or hiding behind a wrap. The fifth sleeve mistake is choosing balloon sleeves or gathered cuffs that add bulk exactly where you want softness. Now, let's be fair. A puff sleeve can be charming. It can look romantic, feminine, and modern on the right garment and the right body. But it is also one of the easiest sleeve shapes to get wrong. A puff sleeve adds volume. That is its purpose. If the puff sits high at the shoulder, it can broaden the upper body. If the puff sits around the bicep, it can make the arm look rounder. If it gathers into a tight cuff, it can create a squeezed effect. And if the fabric is crisp, the sleeve can stand away from the body like a little balloon. For mature women who already feel self-conscious about upper arms, this can be frustrating. The blouse may look feminine, but once it is on, the arm becomes the decorative feature. The sleeve is no longer supporting the outfit. It is competing with the face. The better choice is controlled softness. Instead of a large puff, choose a sleeve with a gentle pleat, a soft drape, or a slight fullness that falls downward rather than outward. A sleeve can be feminine without being inflated. Look for fabric that moves. Soft cotton voile, silk blends, rayon, soft linens blends, or lightweight crepe can give shape without stiffness. If you love romantic details, move them away from the widest part of the arm. Choose a beautiful neckline, pearl buttons, a subtle print, a soft ruffle at the collar, a delicate cuff at the wrist, or a pretty earring. The outfit can still feel feminine, but the upper arm does not have to carry all the decoration. For women with narrow shoulders and wider hips, a small shoulder detail can sometimes balance the body beautifully. But the key word is small. A slight gathered shoulder may help. For women with broad shoulders, a puff sleeve can make the upper body look wider, especially with a high neckline. A softer sleeve and an open neckline often work better. Also be careful with elastic cuffs on short sleeves. If the elastic grips the arm, it creates a little indentation. Even if it is comfortable at first, it can look tight in photographs. For a wedding, dinner, or family event where pictures will be taken, choose a sleeve opening that floats or skims rather than cinches. A small change with a big difference. Replace a puff sleeve blouse with a softly draped elbow sleeve blouse in the same color. You still get polish, you still get femininity. But now the arm looks smoother, the shoulder looks calmer, and the face comes forward. The sixth sleeve mistake is hiding the arm under sleeves that are too wide, too long, or too shapeless. This is the mistake that comes from kindness toward ourselves, not carelessness. A woman feels uncomfortable showing her arms, so she buys the largest sleeve she can find. A big tunic, a flowing kimono, a loose cardigan, a long sleeve that covers the wrist and half the hand. At first it feels safe. But visually, too much fabric can make the arm look larger because the eye cannot find the body underneath. So it becomes a heavy column. If the fabric collapses, it can add wrinkles. If it swings, it can widen the body every time you move. If the sleeve is long and untapered, it can make the arms look shorter and the whole outfit look tired. This is especially common with travel outfits and casual errands. Comfort matters, of course. No woman should have to suffer through a tight sleeve or scratchy fabric. But comfort and shape can live together. The better alternative is a sleeve with ease and taper. That means there is room at the upper arm, but the sleeve narrows slightly toward the wrist or elbow. This creates a graceful line. The arm is covered, but not lost. A bracelet sleeve is one of the most useful choices for mature women. It shows the wrist, keeps fabric away from the hand, and makes even simple outfits look more intentional. Is also helpful, as long as the fabric stays in place and does not create a bulky roll at the forearm. If you love a kimono or topper, look for one that has a vertical line, a lighter fabric, and a sleeve that does not end at the same point as your widest hip or tummy area. A sheer or semi-sheer topper can soften the arm without adding weight, but make sure it looks intentional rather than like a cover-up you grabbed in panic. For women with fuller arms, an open front layer can be wonderful when the sleeve fits properly. The layer creates vertical lines down the body, and the sleeve gives coverage. But if the sleeve is enormous, the vertical benefit disappears. You get width instead of length. For petite women, sleeve volume needs extra care. A wide sleeve can swallow the frame. If you are petite and want arm coverage, choose slimmer sleeves, lighter fabrics, and shorter lengths. Showing the wrist, even a little, can prevent the outfit from looking heavy. For plus-size women, the answer is not always a narrower sleeve. You still need comfort and movement. But a sleeve that is shaped, not baggy, often looks more polished. The goal is not to make the arm disappear. The goal is to give it a clean, calm outline. The 7th sleeve mistake is putting too much contrast, print, trim, or decoration on the sleeve. This is the mistake that sneaks in because the garment looks interesting. A blouse with a bold sleeve print, a t-shirt with a stripe across the upper arm, a jacket with shiny buttons at the cuff, a sweater with heavy cable knit on the sleeves, a dress with lace panels that stop mid-arm, a top with a dark body and very light sleeves, or light body and very dark sleeves. Contrast draws attention. Detail draws attention. Shine draws attention. Horizontal trim draws attention. If those elements sit on the upper arm, they invite the eye there first. This does not mean sleeves must be boring. It means decoration needs to be placed wisely. If you are self-conscious about your arms, keep the sleeve quieter and let the interest live near your face. Neckline, earrings, scarf, or shoe, a beautiful collar, a flattering lipstick, a necklace that sits at the right length, or a clean handbag can make the outfit look finished without adding visual weight to the arm. Color matters too. A very light sleeve on a darker body can widen the arm because a very dark sleeve on a dark sleeve on a light body can create a strong block that chops the arm. Sometimes a tonal look is more flattering. For example, a soft blue blouse with sleeves in the same fabric will usually look smoother than a blouse with high contrast white sleeves and a dark torso. Print scale matters. Tiny busy prints on tight sleeves can look stretched. Large flowers placed directly on the upper arm can make the area seem bigger. A soft all-over print can work if the sleeve shape is good and the fabric drapes well. But if the sleeve is already tight, puffy, or poorly placed, a print will usually emphasize the problem. Cuffs deserve special attention because it draws the eye to a narrow point. But a heavy cuff at the upper arm or just below the elbow can create a band. If you like detail, place it where you want attention. The wrist is often a graceful place. The neckline is another. The upper arm is not always the best location. This is why a plain sleeve is not necessarily plain on the body. It can be quiet, clean, and flattering. It allows your face, hair, posture, jewelry, and overall outfit to speak. Now let's correct a few common misunderstandings because sleeve advice can become too simplistic. The first misunderstanding is that mature women must always cover their arms. No, some women love showing their arms, and they should. Some women have strong arms from swimming, gardening, tennis, or years of active living. Some women simply do not want to be hot in summer. The goal is not to create shame around sleeveless tops. The goal is to choose armholes, shoulder width, and proportions that feel good on your body. The second misunderstanding is that black sleeves always make arms look slimmer. Black can recede, yes, but shape still matters. A tight black sleeve can still squeeze. A bulky black sleeve can still add weight. A black sleeve in a heavy fabric can look severe, especially next to soft gray hair or delicate coloring. Sometimes navy, charcoal, cocoa, olive, soft plum be just as flattering and less harsh. The third misunderstanding is that loose sleeves solve everything. They solve the feeling of exposure, but they can create visual heaviness if there is no structure. A sleeve should allow movement, but it should not make your arm look like it is hiding inside a curtain. The fourth misunderstanding is that sleeve length is universal. Your best sleeve length depends on your height, your arm shape, your bust, your waist, your shoulder line, and even the pants or skirt you are wearing. A sleeve that looks wonderful with slim ankle pants may look less balanced with a wide skirt. A sleeve that works under a blazer may not work on its own. The fifth misunderstanding is that if a top makes your arms look heavy, your body design is wrong. Please do not let a badly designed sleeve become a verdict on your body. Clothing is cut for averages, and very few women are average everywhere. You may have narrow shoulders and fuller arms. You may have a petite torso and a generous bust. You may have one arm slightly larger tailoring. That is normal. Now picture the before and after. Before a short sleeve cuts across the bicep. The fabric pulls. The shoulder seam drops too low. The sleeve opening squeezes. The print is busy. The eye stops at the arm, then moves to the tummy. Then the whole outfit feels wider than you expected. After, the shoulder sits cleanly. The sleeve skims with ease. The hem ends near the elbow or reveals the wrist. The fabric falls instead of clinging. The color is calm. The neckline opens the face. A small earring or necklace brings attention upward. The arm is not hidden, but it is no longer being interrupted. That is styling. Not magic. Not pretending. Just better visual decisions. And sleeves affect more than arms. They affect the face line because a good sleeve can make the shoulders look more balanced, which makes the neck look longer. They affect the waist because sleeve hems can either line up with the tummy or break away from it. They affect the outfit's mood because a clean sleeve can make an inexpensive top look more refined, while a fussy sleeve can make an expensive blouse look difficult. Let's talk about real-life situations. For everyday errands, a simple elbow sleeve tee in a smooth fabric can look far more polished than a thin cap sleeve tee. Wear it with straight-leg jeans, a neat sneaker or loafer, and small hoops. The outfit is still casual, but the arm line is better. For church or lunch with friends, try a soft blouse with sleeves that reach just below the elbow. Pair it with tailored pants or a meaty skirt. Add a watch or bracelet at the wrist. You will look dressed for summer travel. Choose breathable fabrics, but avoid enormous armholes and giant sleeves that flap around. A linen blend shirt with a rolled sleeve can be excellent if the roll sits neatly and does not squeeze. Roll to just below or just above the elbow, not into a bulky lump at the widest part of the arm. For a wedding or special event, do not buy a dress only because it has sleeves. Study the sleeve first. Is it tight? Is it sheer in a way that makes you uncomfortable? Is it stiff? Does it end at the fullest part of your arm? A simple dress with a graceful sleeve will often look more expensive than a dress with complicated lace, beads, and puffed fabric. For date night, the sleeve does not have to hide you. A soft wrap top, a bracelet sleeve knit, or a blouse with a gentle open neckline can show shape without exposing more than you want. Sometimes the most attractive look is not the most revealing one. It is the one where you stop fussing and start enjoying yourself. Now here is a practical closet test that you can do without buying anything. Pull out 5 tops you wear often but do not feel wonderful in. Put them on one at a time. Stand in front of the mirror with your arms relaxed. Do not lift your chin. Do not pose. Ask where your eye goes first. If it goes straight to the sleeve, ask why. Is the sleeve tight? Does it cut at the widest part? Is the shoulder seam too low? Is there a puff adding width? Is the sleeve too loose and shapeless? Is there a stripe, cuff, print, or contrast panel drawing attention? Is the sleeve hem lining up with your tummy or bust in a way that widens the whole upper body? Then try one adjustment. Push the sleeve up to bracelet length. Add a necklace to lift the focus. Leave the top untucked, then try a soft front tuck. Put on a cleaner shoe. Change the cardigan. Sometimes the top is not hopeless. The styling just needs a better line. But if the sleeve still makes you feel uncomfortable every time, release it. A closet full of almost right tops can make a woman feel like her body is the problem every morning. It is better to own fewer tops with sleeves that truly work. Before your next shopping trip, carry this little checklist in your mind. The sleeves should skim, not squeeze. The shoulders should give you shape, not collapse halfway down the arm. The sleeve hem should avoid stopping at your fullest point. The fabric should fall with ease, not cling or stand out stiffly. The sleeve should balance your body, not fight your bust, waist, or height. Details should be placed where you want attention. And when in doubt, show a narrow point such as the wrist, or create a gentle vertical line. Also remember comfort. If you have shoulder pain, limited mobility, swelling, skin sensitivity, or any sudden change in your arms, choose clothing that is easy to put on and take off. And speak with a qualified professional when something feels painful or unusual. Style should support your life, not make it harder. The most graceful sleeve is not always the trendiest sleeve. It is the sleeve that lets you move, sit, reach, hug, wave, cook, drive, and live without thinking about your arms every 5 minutes. And this is the part I want you to take with you. Your arms do not need to be perfect to look beautiful in clothes. They need sleeves that respect them. A better sleeve can make your shoulders look softer, your waist look less crowded, your neck look longer, your jewelry look more intentional, and your whole outfit feel calmer. It can turn a top you would have hidden under a cardigan into a top you actually enjoy wearing. So the next time you try on a blouse, a t-shirt, a dress, or a sweater, do not only ask, does this cover my arms? Ask, does this